Today is St. Patrick's Day. Alonso, you're not wearing green.
It's true. I'm not. I have a T-shirt. No. Yeah. I'm not Irish, so I don't. I think it would be cultural appropriation, frankly, if I wore green. So
I am like 44% Irish.
Okay.
Hence the family history of alcoholism and my inability to get tan. It makes so much sense when you get your ancestry.com.
Christy said that, not me. So
no, it's true. I can say that. So I'm wearing green today. So what better way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day than with the Banshees of Inisherin 8-bit video game? This is brilliant. Our friend Larry Karaziski posted this, and I was happy to share it far and wide. It's essentially like what the Cocaine Bear 8-bit game was. They're all Pac-Man. They're all versions of Pac-Man. And this time, I love the phrasing of it. They're like, boring Colin wants to be your friend. Run from him as fast as you can and get back to the pub. There's also an element involving severed fingers.
Yes.
We'll put a link to it so you can play. Play in your own free time. Ted Lasso returns this week. It is the third season of Ted Lasso and reportedly the last, although I'm sure that everybody involved is fine with figuring out some other way to stay in this world and, spin-offs or whatever. Maybe there's a Keely and Roy spin-off or something like that.
Maybe.
So yes, we're going to begin Ted Lasso recaps this week on our Patreon. Episode 1 is out this week and then we'll do them weekly. Of course, we talked to you recently about Netflix dumping the $130 million Nancy Meyers movie, star-studded Nancy Meyers movie inspired by her career and her collaboration with her ex-husband. Apparently, now Netflix has dropped it, and Deadline is saying that Warner Brothers is going to pick it up.
Yes. And it's interesting. I think, people are sort of aghast at like the kind of money that was going to get thrown around for this. But, a good chunk of it was going to above the line, to the stars that she inevitably works with, for her as a writer director. And, look, they blew 200 million on Red Notice. So if they want to blow 180 on some fancy kitchens and, like fancy LA people talking about their, the horrors of their perfectly privileged life, sure, why not?
130 actually. It's
130.
a bargain.
A steal. Come on.
But like supposedly Scarlett Johansson was going to star in it. It's this incredible star-studded cast that is reportedly lined up for this thing. So, right, I say give Nancy Meyers what she wants. She's a brand. She's a proven, reliable brand.
Absolutely.
And yet, yes, they are making 2 more Red Notices, but not a Nancy Meyers movie. So I do hope that report is correct and that someone is smart enough, someone who is a competitor of Paramount, because I guess Paramount's in the title of this thing.
That I find hilarious that if Warner Brothers puts out a movie that's called, was it Paris Paramount? Is that
Paramount something? Anyway, Anyway, very entertaining. Quentin Tarantino reportedly is making his 10th and final film. It is called The Movie Critic. And supposedly, maybe that's just a working title. Who knows? Supposedly it's about LA in the 70s. And so folks are surmising that this is some kind of Pauline Kael movie.
Well, yeah. The story is that Pauline Kael basically got hired by Warren Beatty at some point during the 70s and she moved to Los Angeles and worked for his production company. And basically it's sort of seen in retrospect as him kind of taking her off the board. Like if he hired her, then she wouldn't be writing movie reviews. And so like he was able to sort of, nullify her for a while. But then as it turned out, like, she eventually left, panned Reds, and like wrote this really long piece about all the horrible shit that she learned being on the inside of Hollywood, So I don't know that anybody's a winner in that scenario, but yeah, I've heard the possibility that that's the story that he wants to tell here, which is a juicy one. It's kind of inside baseball, but I'm sure he could have some fun with it. I hope it doesn't dwell into the fact that for some reason, I don't know if she like badmouthed one of his movies or something, but like apparently Tarantino really hates Sheila Benson, who was lovely and I had nothing but wonderful encounters with, a legendary LA film critic from back in the day who passed away in the last couple of years. So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, he does like this LA in the 70s era though. I mean, although Once Upon a Time is late 60s, but like clearly he's got a great fondness for, you know, the clothes and the cars, the production design of this era. So we know that if indeed this is what he is making, that it will be like impeccably turned out.
Oh yeah,
you know,
no
transforming entire city blocks. This is what the ArcLight and the Cinerama Dome will be for once again, right? Cinerama Dome has been closed for 3 years now, but Tarantino can transform it.
And, you know, frankly, if, you know, Warren Beatty famously was supposed to play Bill in Kill Bill, and then it didn't work out for some reason. They went with David Carradine instead. So I'm wondering, like, if he gets a de-aged Warren Beatty to play Warren Beatty.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. A24 is doing a 4K restoration of Stop Making Sense.
Yeah, they are.
That'll be awesome.
I'm very excited. Now,
I am too.
Okay, I found it right here.
Yeah, that's it. Wow. Okay, you got it. Thank you.
Very good.
Do we know? Okay, because I just got the email this morning. Rhino is also putting out a double album soundtrack and a digital version, and it's going to include 2 songs from the concert that were not featured in the original cut of the movie. And I'm wondering if those are going to get put back now.
That's interesting.
Yay or nay on that.
That's interesting. Yeah, this is the 40th anniversary of Stop Making Sense. Of course, legendary Jonathan Demme Talking Heads concert movie, like the gold standard in a lot of ways for the concert movie. So revolutionary, and you see how other ones have kind of played with that format, including David Byrne's American Utopia.
Sure,
you know, the sparse stage and like the building piece by piece. There's a lot of homages there. There's a very cute. You see the cute little clip that they put out to promote this.
Very clever. Yes,
very charming.
Picks up the suit. Just in case everyone's wondering, the cities in question, the songs in question are Cities and Big Business / Ezimbra. So apparently those were performed in the shows at the Pantages that were filmed for Stop Making Sense. They were not in the original movie. They are going to be on this new soundtrack that's coming out in August, but I don't know if the 4K restoration of the concert is going to put those back in or not. We'll find out.
We'll have to keep track of that. Yeah, that's not coming out till later this year. I just have great memories of taking Nick as a little kid to see it at the New Beverly, and people were up and dancing in the aisles. Like, cause how could you help yourself? Of course.
Sure.
And like the ushers were like, please sit down. Like, no, don't show a fun movie then. Speaking of Tarantino,
I got to see that my freshman year in college at Vanderbilt. They used to do a series called The Critical Eye, where a critic would come in every year and screen a new film. And it was the last year they did it. James Wolcott was the critic from Vanity Fair at the time, and he brought Stop Making Sense. And so that blew me away, and it was also kind of my exposure to Talking Heads beyond like the radio hits, and it really was just like.
Demi Lovato is making her directing debut. She's making a documentary about child stardom. The working title is Child Star, appropriately enough, and it's going to be streaming on Hulu in 2024. And she has, you know, had a documentary made about her life that's very candid about her struggles. And so I assume that this, again, will be sort of a candid look at what it's like to grow up in the public eye. I'm hoping that it is larger in scope than that one that Soleil Moon Frye
90s
Kid 90 it was
Kid
called,
90s,
where she went into her trove of archival footage of stuff she shot on set and hanging out with all her famous friends, you know, growing up as Punky Brewster and all that. That felt a bit navel-gazing to me. And
but I could see if she's going to talk to former child stars as adults, I think they would be maybe more likely to open up about that stuff to somebody like her who went through the same mill as a kid, you know, so that puts her in a unique position to get good stuff. I hope it works out.
And then we have a sad death to report. Bobby Caldwell.
Yes.
Legendary 70s and beyond singer-songwriter, best known for What You Won't Do for Love, which is a banger still to this day, a classic, yacht rock classic.
Definitely.
The thing with Bobby Caldwell is that everyone assumed that he was black.
Yes. He's one of those vocalists, which, you know, we were talking about this morning, Dave and I were like, you know, when Rick Astley first dropped and people didn't see the video, people thought that the guy singing Never Gonna Give You Up was black. The first Simply Red song I ever heard, I thought Mick Hucknall was a black woman. So, you know.
Oh,
you
interesting.
Never know.
Yeah. And even like the album cover for the album that has What You Won't Do for Love on it is like a silhouette of someone him sitting on a bench. So they marketed it as if like we're just not going to tell you. And of course, there are all these memes of like younger Black people watching the video and going like, oh my God, he's right.
What?
So a total classic, Bobby Caldwell, age 71.